This video is sponsored by Factor. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Handyman Graham, and today I'm going to show you 10 easy hacks for your home that you can do yourself. Alright, so first and foremost, Happy New Year to everybody. This is the first video back in 2026, so excited to be back. So in today's video, I'm gonna show you 10 easy upgrades to your home that you can do yourself with minimal tools required. You know, I just had 2 weeks off over the holidays. I started making a list of things I want to do around my house. Personally, I have 3 things that I'm gonna do around my home. Amanda has a bigger list than I do. She's got 7 things she wants to do around her house. So we're gonna start here, and we're gonna jump over to Amanda's place and finish up. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna tackle is changing my kitchen faucet. So back when I was at TaskRabbit, changing a kitchen faucet was one of the more popular things that I was hired to do for people. Just because like when we move into a new apartment, it might have old or archaic like faucets that just aren't cutting it for you. This one actually came from the Gator office, but this one doesn't have a sprayer function. So I picked up a faucet that has all the functions I want, and we're gonna swap them out. So the tools you need for this project, first up, screwdriver. Not just one crescent wrench, but 2 crescent wrenches, or whatever wrenches you happen to have on hand. Then I have some Teflon tape. You can pick this up from any hardware store. It's less than $1. It's definitely handy to have. Flashlight so you can see underneath the counter, and some safety glasses. So the first thing I gotta do is empty out underneath the cabinet. This is the most annoying and laborious thing to do during this whole process. I just have to empty everything out so I can lay down and get in there. Okay, that should be good. First thing I'm gonna put the flashlight underneath the counter. Just kind of like point it in the corner so it's like diffused light. Next thing you gotta do is turn off the water. So we have the hot water on the left, cold water on the right. This one looks a lot older than the hot water one, so hopefully that doesn't give us any issues. And righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, that is stiff, so I'll just grab up that wrench. Nice. I mean, you don't want to use a wrench on those things, just this one's just really old, so 95% of the time, you just use your fingers. I'm just gonna put a cloth down to collect any water. These hoses still have water in them, even though the water's off. There's still water in this tube from the going to the faucet, so either put like a shallow dish, like a baking pan, or a cloth down. We have the nut here, and I'm just gonna go at it with this large wrench, lefty-loosey, and it should come out pretty easily. Don't be too intimidated by it. It just takes some patience. Just take your time. Don't get discouraged. This is the hardest part. Okay, finally got that nut, and now I'm just gonna disconnect the water. So I'm just using my crescent wrench just to undo these water hoses, lefty-loosey, and it's gonna be completely normal for water to drip down here because there's still some residual water left in the hoses, but don't be worried about it. There. So this isn't garbage. I think I could probably sell this on Marketplace for like 50 bucks. This is the new faucet I got. Okay, this is the old escutcheon. It can't be a real word. I left this one on from my previous faucet because the new IKEA one didn't have it. So this is crazy corroded. That is nasty. As you can see, there's old silicone. So I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit with a scraper, maybe some cleaning solution, and then we can install a new one. Nice. Okay, I'm just gonna fish it through the hole first. Just for the faucet placement, like I'm right-handed, so if I go to like turn this on, I'm gonna get like sprayed. So just keep it on the side that you are most dominant on. This is a newer style faucet, so it literally, this is the nut that's gonna hold the faucet in place. So it's just meant to be hand tightened. So you don't need any tools. And then I believe this is the weight. So this is the weight that holds this thing down so it doesn't dangle. So this goes underneath the counter. It even says up. I'm guessing that goes like that, so that holds the hose. Little to no tools required for this faucet. So the first thing I'm gonna do is put this locking nut on to hold the faucet in place. The tricky part here is knowing where the placement of the faucet is, because you're underneath the counter, you don't know what it's like on top. So it's helpful if you grab someone to like just make sure that like before you tighten it completely, it's where you want it to be. Okay, this thing just kind of pushes in place, and then it says to twist to lock it.
That's it?
Oh yeah, wow, that's crazy. That is so easy.
So easy.
No tools. You saw me fiddle with the brass nut before with the, you don't need any of that. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is put this weight on. It says weight here. So it literally says where to put the thing. So I'm gonna put that clip right there, and then that slides right over top, and it's pinched in place. So it should just like, when you drop it, yeah. Here's another connector that doesn't need any tools. This is a pinch connector. It just pinches into place, and it's like a clip, so there's no screwing or nothing. This is just connecting the shower head to the actual faucet.
Nice.
And then we're gonna connect the water hoses. I'm gonna guess the hose with the red font is the hot. I'm just gonna put a little bit of tape on each thread, and I'm just going to hand tighten. Okay, then I'm just gonna take my wrenches. You don't wanna over tighten these. You just kind of want it so that it's tight, but not too tight. So beyond finger tight, and you'll know when you can't go any further, and don't go beyond that. So I'm just gonna open the faucet and test the water, make sure everything's connected.
It's spraying out.
Yeah, okay, so that's the cold water, that's working. Gonna turn the hot water on. Okay, everything looks great. Okay. So now there's one last part. What I'll do is I'll grab some toilet paper and I'll just fold it a couple times. And I'm gonna put this right underneath the pipes that we just tightened. And then I'm gonna leave the faucet running for like 2 minutes. And if there's any drips, if we didn't tighten it enough, it'll show up on the toilet paper and we'll know that we need to tighten the pipes a little bit more.
That's a great tip.
Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Toilet paper is completely dry, no drips, so it's safe to put everything back underneath. Installing the new faucet took half the amount of time as taking out the old one. So straightforward. Yeah, now we have this new faucet. This is great. Now I'm just gonna put everything back in. And if anything, it's actually like a great excuse to clean underneath your kitchen sink. Oh, one last tip is keep the area around that weight free so that it can go up and down unobstructed underneath the counter. So I've talked about running a little bit on the channel in the past, and my goal for the new year is to run a marathon faster than the marathon I ran last year. With marathon training and working, I just don't have the energy or the time to cook a proper meal for myself, which is where Factor comes in. Factor delivers fresh, chef-crafted meals straight to your door. No prep, no mess, just nutritious, delicious meals ready in 2 minutes. I really like that Factor has over 100 meals, breakfast, shakes, and snacks to choose from. As a runner, my diet is so important to me for my success, so it's good to know that Factor doesn't have any refined seed oils, sugars, or artificial junk. It's just real food that makes you feel good while eating it. Part of my marathon training is I have to hit the gym as well, so protein is so crucial to my diet, which is good to know that most Factor meals contain 30 grams of protein and some up to 50 grams. I'm a runner, but maybe you're not, but that's okay because Factor has a meal for you, whatever your goals are. So whether you're focused on high protein, low carb, calorie smart, or GLP-1 support, Factor has meals that match your goals and taste good too. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, head on over to factor75.com or click the link below and use my code for 50% off your first box and free breakfast for 1 year. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as a discount on your first box. New or returning subscribers only. Varies by plan. All right, back to the hacks. Okay, the next handy hack you can do in your home is cleaning your electric stove. I've been in enough people's homes through TaskRabbit, through makeovers, friends' houses to know that like no one really knows how to clean these things. There's a couple things to the electric stove. There's the burners. These things just lift up, pop out. So I'm just gonna lift these up. These are called drip trays. They just get like grease and like crud just caked onto them. So these ones you can definitely soak in water, but really there's a limit to how much you can actually clean these things because they just get so caked on. There's one product that works really well on this and it's called Barkeeper's Friend. It's like the best product that no one really knows about. I think like if you know about it, you know how good it is, but it just works magic on these things. So I'll show you that in a sec. But then there's this, and this is where the stove separates from the oven. And no one really knows this hack for their stove, but this thing, I think it should pop up. I could have sworn my stove lifted up, but it doesn't. So we've been in a lot of people's apartments where it actually does lift up, and I Could have sworn that Alexandra was here and we lifted this up when we did the makeover in my kitchen, but apparently not. As you can see, even with those drip trays here, your stove still gets crazy nasty underneath. So even though I can't lift this up to clean, it's still important to clean underneath. Okay, I'm gonna try Barkeeper's Friend first. It says to let it sit for like a minute. In the meantime, I can clean these things in the sink. Again, just gonna let that soak for a bit. Let's see what we got here. There's different types of Barkeeper's Friend that you can get. This is the gentle one, so it's safe on stainless steel. But yeah, this stove is really old. It's all rusty back here, so there's a limit to how much you can actually do. This is just a good reminder to people to clean your stove. Helps prevent pests, helps prevent fire hazards, and I don't know, makes your kitchen smell good. So it won't remove rust, but it did remove all that caked on grease. Much better. Still not perfect, but I spent maybe 30 seconds on each one, so.
It looks great.
Yeah, it looks much better. That one needs a little bit more. If you grew up with one of these stoves, you know that like your parents would probably use these. These are burner liners. These are made out of aluminum, and they just ensure that your liner stays nice and clean. When it gets dirty, you just toss it out and replace it. I don't know. I'm not crazy about the way that these look, but I'm like a messy cooker, so this will just help with maintaining some cleanliness. Clean. Another easy home hack you can do is re-caulking your tub or shower. This is so easy. It requires very little tools. I've been in so many people's homes and have noticed that like the silicone around the tub always gets really nasty. Usually around the tub or the bottom of the shower where the water collects. So before we get started, silicone doesn't like to stick to water. It's hydrophobic. So you have to make sure that your tub or your shower is completely dry before starting. We have to remove all the old silicone first, including the bulk of the material and the residue that's left behind. You don't want to use a metal knife here because you don't want to scratch your tub or your tile, so use a plastic scraper. You can get these for like $1 or $2 from the hardware store. You just want to remove as much as you can. You just want to do this all the way around the tub, on the tile, and just get rid of all this excess. That's satisfying.
Yes.
Okay, so the bulk of the material is off, which is great. So now I just have to go in with some 50% isopropyl alcohol. And this is just gonna help remove the remainder of the residue because we need this to be as clean as possible so the silicone can actually stick to the surfaces rather than stick to the old silicone. It's probably hard to see on camera, but like the alcohol is getting rid of that old silicone residue really easily. You don't have to actually work that hard to get rid of it. Okay, remove the residue from the entire tub. So now we just have to let it dry, and you can speed up the process by just grabbing a hair dryer, which you probably already have in your bathroom. Okay, it's all prepped. I'm good to silicone. So this is an important part, is cutting the tip here. You don't want to cut it so that the opening is too big. There's like a million different types of silicone brands. My tip for you guys is look for waterproof, look for kitchen and bath, and the color. So this is white because white tile, white tub, we want white silicone. There's also this little doodad here on your caulking gun. Just gonna use that hole to puncture the foil. I'm gonna load it up and it should come out. Okay, great. So my tip for you guys is have a bunch of paper towel or rags close by. What I like to do is I like to rest this on a cloth because as you can see, there's now like pressure that's building up in the tube and it's wanting to continue to squeeze out. So I just kind of have a cloth on standby where I can put this down without getting silicone everywhere. So what you want to do is one clean, uninterrupted bead into the corner and then all the way around. You want to be like nice and consistent with your bead and you kind of squeeze as necessary. So just trying to keep that bead the same size all the way around. Corners are always the trickiest. Okay. And I like to do the entire tub all at once and then I go in and tidy up the bead afterwards. I do find that like if you're newer to caulking, the bead is gonna be inconsistent, so it'll be like a lot in one place, a little in another place. So this is just dish soap and water. It's like a high concentration dish soap. We're gonna spray, just a light spray of the silicone when I add the water, and I use my finger to kind of like smooth down the bead. That silicone is not gonna wanna stick to those wet surfaces. I'm gonna spray my finger. I'm gonna apply just some light pressure. So you get like a nice clean bead. I have it on my finger, but because I had dish soap on there, it doesn't stick. And you just want to kind of routinely just wet your finger. You just get a nice, crisp, see? Barely anything left on my finger. Each time you do it, re-wet your finger and just go over again.
This is really good.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. This is not like a professional way, but this is just like a nice approachable method so that you can upgrade your shower, feel a little bit more comfortable taking showers in your apartment and stuff, not having to worry about mold, all that sort of stuff. So nice, easy hack. Okay, we're at Amanda's house, and the first thing that we gotta do is fix her toilet. Working for TaskRabbit, fixing a toilet was like one of the top jobs I did. I was like the toilet king of Toronto, seriously. I was like top listed because all I did day in, day out was fix toilets. You can get an all-in-one toilet kit. So this has the flapper and the fill valve all in one. Generally, these are like the only two things that will ever go wrong in your toilet. This is the only tool that we need for this job. It's just a sponge. It's so easy. No tools required. Maybe some needle nose pliers for the chain, but we'll see when we get there because we might not actually. First thing I gotta do with the toilet is turn the water off. Righty tighty until it's nice and tight. Then we just have to make sure the water's off. We don't want any surprises when we undo the hose and water goes everywhere. So what I'll do is I'll flush the toilet. I'm gonna leave it up. I want as much water gone from the tank there, and we can hear that it's not filling, so that means water is off. So we're gonna replace the fill valve and the flapper. We have a kit with both items in here, so we're just gonna go ahead and replace both. There's some water left in the bottom of the tank. I'm gonna use this sponge, and we're just gonna soak up as much water as we can. You know, this might take a little bit. And you might be wondering why it's black. The rubber gaskets in the bottom of the tank, they're like oil-based, so they don't like degrade. Don't be worried about it. It's not poo or anything because the poo goes in here. So the next thing I'm gonna do with this bowl here, I'm gonna put it underneath the toilet. There's a nut here that you just undo with your fingertips. So now the rest of the water is just draining out. It's totally normal. There's just a plastic nut here that I have to loosen. Okay, now we can just remove this, get this out of the way. See, it's all plastic, so it should only ever be finger tight, because if you use like a wrench on plastic, it'll just break. So these are just kind of designed so that you don't really need any tools. You just kind of use your hands. And then at the same time, I'm gonna remove the flapper. The flapper just connects to the toilet handle with a little clip. And these are designed so that they just kind of snap out. Okay, there. So I'm gonna open this package now, and I'm gonna do everything in the reverse order. We're gonna install the flapper first. When you're choosing this in the hardware store, be sure that you're getting the right size, because there's the 2-inch flapper, the 3-inch flapper. The 3-inch is a lot bigger, obviously. Little clippies here, pretty great. This flapper pretty much will attach to any toilet. So there, it's installed. And then with the chain, you kind of want to set the height of the chain so that the chain is tight, but not so tight that it's lifting the flapper up off the ground. So see how it's kind of, there's a little bit of slack?
It's a good height.
That's a good height. We have our little fill valve, and this is a universal one as well. So you kind of just lift that up, and you can change the height of it depending on your toilet. So it can be short, it can be taller, depending on how much water you need to put in the tank. So this tube right here is actually pretty short. So we're gonna make it short, and we can always adjust it once it's in place. Easy. We also have our overflow tube. So this just goes right over this thingy, and then it just fits into that thingy. It even comes with a clip if you don't have that hole. There's the nut, and it has these 2 wings on the nut because it's meant to be hand tightened. So I'm just gonna go under the tank. I'm just gonna tighten it with my fingers. And just make sure that this isn't hitting the sides of the toilet. Make sure it's not hitting the chain, so that looks nice. And then I'm going to go ahead and reconnect the water line. Finger tightening it, and we're set. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna turn the water back on, and hopefully water doesn't spray everywhere. Okay, so the float is starting to fill, but we just passed the water line. So I think the water line can go down a little bit. So then you just want to twist this guy so that it doesn't fill up the tank as much. Nice.
And that's why they call you the toilet.
Yeah. So just like we did with the kitchen faucet, I'm gonna put some dry pieces of toilet paper behind the toilet so that if there's any droplets of water, it'll land on the toilet paper and it'll let us know that we need to tighten something. I'm gonna put the lid back on. Okay, the next task we have here is tighten the toilet seat. All you need for this is a simple screwdriver. No one wants to sit on a toilet seat that moves around. There's 2 bolts here, and there's 2 caps that are covering them. So I'm just gonna pry off the cap. There we go, there's 1, there's 2. So if you're a guy or you live with a guy and they go to the bathroom standing up, these things get so disgusting. It might actually be worthwhile taking the whole toilet seat off and just cleaning it. Okay, so this is the bolt. It's plastic, and there's a plastic nut with a wing on there again. So this is meant to be hand tightened. So I'm just gonna put that bolt back down, tighten this with my screwdriver. I would recommend not using a drill for this because you'll probably end up just cranking that screw until it breaks. So there's 1, and there's 2. Put the caps back on. So now, look at that. Easy.
Easy, that's gonna make my life better. Thank you.
And toilet paper, completely dry, so we know that the toilet's not leaking. The next one we're gonna do is replace the shower head. So this is something that, again, I've just been requested a million times. We're gonna be replacing it with a shower head that's apparently good for your hair. It has a built-in water filter. So this might be something that you're interested in as well at home. So I'm gonna take this off first. Sometimes you can do it with your hands. Look at that. Don't even need a wrench. Okay, so that's great. Gonna put that aside. So there is some old crusty Teflon tape here that we're just gonna remove because we have to add some new fresh stuff, and you don't want to leave any of this stuff behind because you want like the new stuff just to be nice and fresh.
Alaska. This is Alaska.
Oh. Okay, so this shower head came with its own Teflon tape. I'm not gonna use that Teflon tape. I'm gonna use this one because this is gonna be easier to apply. Because we're going righty-tighty, I also want the Teflon tape to go in that clockwise direction. If you go counterclockwise with the Teflon tape, as you're tightening it, you're actually gonna be undoing it. I'm stretching it as I'm applying it so that it goes in the threads. And you don't have to apply that much. Guaranteed you'll know when you put your shower head on if you've done enough. Sometimes you don't need it, sometimes you need a ton, just depending on the shower head and whatnot. So we're just making sure we have a rubber gasket in place, and I'm just gonna hand tighten. And you don't want to tighten it too much because then you can warp that rubber gasket and then you won't get a good seal. Okay, let's try it. Oh, that's nice. So yeah, I think if you tighten it too much, you warp that rubber washer. So I'm not gonna tighten it with the wrench. I'm just gonna leave it like this. But I'll just tighten it a bit more. Okay, we're on to hack number 7. This one's actually one that people don't really think about all that often. You come into the bathroom, you turn on your fan, put on a hot shower, and you notice that your mirror fogs up. Could be like moisture on the walls, on the ceiling, and you're like, why isn't this venting properly? Like I have a vent, it's on, but nothing's happening, right? Well, it's because these vents exist for a reason, and that is to trap dust, cat hair, dander, lint, whatever. If that is plugged, then your shower is not gonna be able to vent, and you're gonna have all sorts of moisture issues. And this is one that requires like no tools. Okay, I'm gonna stand on the toilet, but I don't recommend standing on the toilet at home. Get like a little step stool or something. Okay, so these vents are on like these little spring hooks. So I'm just gonna bring this down a little bit until I can get my fingers in there. And you just kind of pinch and open. See, pinch So rather than using a duster on this, I just take this over to the bathtub, to the kitchen sink, and I just hose it down and clean it, dry it off. Yeah, look at all that dust. A little scrub brush. Easy, done. And then to reinstall, you just do the exact opposite motion. So we have our little wing clip thingies. We're gonna pinch them so that they're together. We're gonna find those little openings. Once it's installed, just push it. I can hear it.
Oh wow, I can hear it too actually.
Okay, we're back with number 8. This time we're changing the HVAC filter. Pretty much every condo in Toronto has an in-unit HVAC system. There's different sizes based on different HVAC systems. So like this one, for example, is 20 by 24 by 1. You never really need tools. These kind of open, like, there's like, I'm guessing this is a door. I don't know, I've never done this before here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little door. Yeah, there it is. Okay, nice. This is not the worst I've seen. So we have our 20 by 24. You can get like packs of 4. I have like an air purifier in the workshop that I get filters for, and I'll get like kind of like whatever filter is on sale. So what we're gonna look for right now is this, airflow. So it is important. Airflow is going this way. So this is gonna be the front. I don't know if like it makes that big a difference, but okay, and we're just gonna slide this into place. No need to put tape over here. No need to seal the edges or anything. It's kind of just intended for it to kind of rest in place. Easy, straightforward. I will just put the date here. Okay, just put this door back. Easy. Okay, tip number 9, and that is fixing scratches in hardwood floors. These are called fill sticks. I picked these up, I think they were $9. It's like a high density, like oily wax or something. I'm just gonna heat it up a little bit until it drips into the crack. Oh, nice. One more, nice. This is good. Okay. Wow. I'm just gonna wait for this to cool down a little bit. Just gonna take a little razor blade, and I'm just gonna peel this back a little bit, polish the top there. You have to just embrace the artistry. It's not perfect, but it's so much better than it was. And honestly, a fix like this is mostly intended so like when the landlord does a walkthrough of your space, they won't even see it. The last handy tip I have for you guys is cleaning your dryer vent. So this is something that clogs up over time, whether you're in a house or apartment. We're all familiar with the old vent in the dryer. If you're in a condo, then it usually has a trap here that's meant to be cleaned out every once in a while. You wanna make sure that this is free of lint so that it can vent outside properly. Ugh. It's so thick that it just comes off in like one sheet. So gross. While this might be clean after every single cycle, you always wanna make sure that if you have a secondary filter, that you clean that frequently. This should be after every load, whereas this one should probably be like once a week. So it is intended to be cleaned frequently. Okay, so that's it. There's 10 easy hacks that you can do in your own home with little to no money spent, little to no tools used. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this video. If you guys have some hacks that you want to see done in like a future video, like a part 2, let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.